Oh, pants, Mum, they've got the kohlrabi. Oh, well, there's nothing left of what we planted in there.
Oh, all the ones up this end.
Yeah, nothing left at all. There are a couple in there. There's one. But, yeah, I mean, all of the sprouting broccolis. Yeah, why is it that that one has never been dug out? What is it about that one particular plant? The Cavalliniera is not looking too hot though, Mum. First job of the morning.
Yeah, I don't think I got back in last night. I never went to the next one. Hello, girlies!
Hello, girlies. Gorgeous girlies.
Hello, girlies!
Got some really nice beetroot coming in there. Nobody's been in here though.
Oh, the sunshine!
Good morning. Good morning. A first happened yesterday. Today is Wednesday. And as you know, for 231 episodes, we have had Tuesday afternoon, the vlog's gone out. And I would like to issue a formal and heartfelt apology. I forgot to put it out yesterday. I'm ashamed. I'm really ashamed of myself. It went out. Without making excuses, I can only explain what happened. I actually had the video finished early this week because I've joined a ceramic studio and I had to be in there on Monday. And I normally finish my editing off on Monday. So I did my editing on Sunday. And then, this feels like I'm just giving excuses, but honestly, did my editing on Sunday and then it was up early on Monday for the Patreons because I was having to record the potty mouth at like 3 o'clock, it's when we record it. Which meant that Monday didn't feel like Monday normally does. And by the time Tuesday come along, I had quite an interesting talk to go to actually at a community garden in King's Cross. So I went up there, that finished at like 3 o'clock. And as I was leaving there, I was thinking, right, I have got a good hour because I can't set it as scheduled until 4 o'clock because people on Patreon are still watching it. And yeah, so I thought about it at 3. Then I had something else that I was supposed to go to that afternoon, which was then cancelled. I got one of those due to unforeseen circumstances emails. And so suddenly I had a free afternoon on my hands. And Aston Villa was playing Young Boys, their first match in Europe for, oh gosh, I don't know, I think it was before I was born was the last time they were playing in Europe. And my other half is an Aston Villa fan. So I was like, brilliant. I'll come and meet you at the pub and we'll watch the game. At that point, the idea that it was Tuesday just floated away into the distance. And I didn't think about it until 4 o'clock this morning when I woke up out of a very deep sleep like, I haven't put the video out. So yeah, I put the video out at 4 o'clock this morning and please accept this as my genuine and heartfelt apology. What an idiot. What an absolute idiot. I mean, I was there at 3 o'clock. I knew what I had to do. 5 minutes past 3. Never came back to me. Anyway, what are we doing today? It was supposed to be bright sunshine this morning, but actually we're kind of like, we've got quite a thick layer of cloud with breaks in it. So it's going from quite cool to like burning hot and then backwards and forwards. So you might see me coat on, coat off, jumper off, you know, quite a lot today. But I'm going to sort some stuff out. You know, last week I did the sowing. Well, I didn't sow any parsley or coriander. Still haven't got any coriander seed. So I need to go to the shop and get that. But I did retrieve the parsley seed from home. So I'm going to sow some of that. Some bits have come up. I'll show you what's happening in the greenhouse with that. Our outdoor tomatoes that were our gamble tomatoes look like they've got blight. So that's not the ones that are in the bed at the top. The blight resistant ones. This was the ones that we just thought, oh, well, we'll risk it for a biscuit. It didn't pay off. So I think they've got blight. We'll probably take them out and bag them up as we're leaving because I don't want to get blight spores all over me and then walk around the rest of the allotment. So we'll just leave them be for the moment and do that just as we're leaving. What else have I got to do today? I've got to water and feed again in the quad grows. They're ready for another go. I've got tomatoes to pick. Yeah, I'm excited. I can't believe it. The polytunnel is looking like it should right at the beginning of August. And considering we were running 6 weeks late at the beginning of the year, it's sort of about right, isn't it? Yeah, but anyway, we're still getting tomatoes. The sun's still out. It's all very exciting. Now, there was something else that I had to do today. What was it? Oh, yeah, well, obviously replant all of the things that got dug out last night. None of which was in one of the new covered beds, I'm very pleased to say. I'm not sure. I think there's a lot of clearing to do. The beans are over mostly, so I'm going to take them off. Oh, and we've got picking to do. There is spring onions, turnips, and chimney wrapper to pick. And the chimney wrapper is the one that I transplanted out of that top bed. You know, the self-seeded one. It's looking mwah, absolutely beautiful. So we're going to be having orecchiette de chimney wrapper for our lunch today, which I'm well excited about. And yeah, other than that, I'm just going to swan around in the sunshine and have a lovely morning. It hasn't been a great morning up until now. So obviously I was up at 4 to put the video in. Then I didn't go back to sleep. Stubbed my toe, like properly whacked it on the wheels under the bed, which made me feel amazing. I spilt coffee, and then I went to do Wordle. I don't know if you do Wordle. It's like a New York Times word game. One comes out every morning, and I haven't failed it for, I can't even remember the last time I failed it. I do it every morning, you know, and you get your streak, and I don't even know what I was up to, like 200 and something or something. And I got the word, I got 4 of the 5 letters like on my second run. And I tried 5 attempts at the first letter and I didn't get it. The answer, by the way, was fully. And I had bully, gully, I just had every kind of ully you could imagine. Anyway, I didn't get it. So this morning, I'm hoping is about to take a turn up because it's not going to take much of a turn down. Are you out there, my girly wigs? Whirly gigs, girly wigs, whirly gigs, girly wigs. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Gorgeous girls that you are. Sunshine! Woo! How are we looking?
Was taken out.
Okay.
5 of the, whatever they are,
Sproutings.
And this is what I've rescued so far, but I'm going to have to dig all, there might be some more under there.
Okay.
When I...
So can you remember how many we had? Oh, I can see another one. Oh, he's still in place.
Oh, right.
He's still planted.
Right. Okay, so I'll get something to scoop this up with.
Mm-hmm.
And
do some replanting.
They've taken a lot of soil out.
So much soil.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we'll see, but they all look relatively fresh.
Well, it's been a cloudy morning, hasn't it, so far? So that's one.
That isn't anything on the side there, is it?
No, that's just bitten off leaves off here, I think. There was supposed to be 3 and 3. So I think it was 1, 2.
And these 2 come this way.
No, because that was the line of the, and then I think there was 1 there, and then I think there was 3 in there.
Right, okay.
Like that.
Okay, that's where
This one has slowly been shunted that way every time they're digging, but it should have been in the middle here.
But I think it needs to be staked as well.
Yeah.
Before we put the lid back.
Oh, there's another one. Okay, feeding the chilies and all the things that are in the quad grows there. And look, you know, last time I didn't have a measuring jug, I've bought myself a super fancy, I mean, it was cheap as chips, but it's glass and it's really chunky. So this is the new Allotment one. I'm quite tempted to buy one for the kitchen because I've only got these metal cups in the kitchen that have the marks on them, but you have to be like, to see whether it's reached it, because you can't see from the outside. How silly is that? So I may be in the market for another one of these, but now I've just got to remember what the measurements were. So JB rather sensibly informed me that the best way to do it is just to measure this out and tip it in there and then fill it up with water, rather than buggering around with the watering can. So 60 and 60 mil. Lovely. Oh look, and 120. That works out perfectly. I can put them both in the same cup. Well, something I've got to remember is that they're connected. They're like each set of 4. It looks like they're in 2s, but they're actually in 4s. And last time I was doing this, I tried to fill each 2 separately, and then I was really confused why there was water in the second set. Well, it's because they're connected, Jessie, you plonker. Same again. 60. $120. Ooh. While I've been doing that, Mum's been doing a bit of clearance. So we've actually got quite a few beds that are in this state now where they've got stuff in them that either is just all ready to be harvested and we'll clear it that way, or it's stuff which is just not actually going to do anything, in which case it's time for it to be given up on and stuck in the compost heap, or given to the girlies, depending on what's what. This bed, actually, we have got quite a bit of a mix of stuff in here. We've got kale at the bean end, which is the dark red curly kale, which is growing really well, so we'll keep that going. In the middle here, we've got turnips, which unfortunately have got club root, and so they're really not going to be much good for anything, so they just need to come out. We also have a load of bietta in the end, which was doing quite well, but we took the netting off because we had to use it for something else, more protection, and unfortunately the pigeons have got to it, so they've stripped them. So we need to re-protect those. Bit hot.
Ooh, very. It's just bending and in the baking sun.
Things are looking good in this greenhouse, actually. I'm quite pleased, but it's a similar situation to in the polytunnel, is that there's loads of fruit on everything. These chilies are absolutely covered. We just need a little bit more heat. Right, sowing. Parsley. Nothing new here. I have the same 2 parsleys that I grow every year. They are the ones I really, really like. I do a giant flat leaf Italian parsley, which giant of Italy. And I always do a curly one, Lisette. I know a curly parsley kind of went out of fashion for a while. We used to grow one that was just called curled green. I think it was decent enough. It's not like there was anything wildly wrong with it. But I always preferred the Italian, like big fat flat leaf one. I just thought the flavour was a bit better until I discovered Lucette. Actually, we've got some Lucette growing up there. I'll show you in just a moment, but let's get the giant parsley in. These are going to be dotted across the allotment, but I will also be putting some in the polytunnel for over winter growing. Parsley's pretty tough, it really is, but the Lucette is tougher than the Italian one in my experience. So the last couple of years we've had some real stonking parsley growing in the polytunnel, so I'm optimistic about that. Right, that is the Italian, and then this is the gorgeous little Lucette. Gorgeous Lucette. Actually, somebody just joined my Patreon like a week before last whose name was Lucette, which I thought was rather lovely. It is a great thing to share your name with, this little variety. Okay. Stick those in. Wonderful, wonderful. Actually, I'll tell you what, I sowed, actually inspired by Soph, if you remember Soph, newbie allotment. She is well into growing flowers this year. And one of the things that she was really into sowing was antirrhinums. I love antirrhinums, and we've got some in the front garden that just not only do they come back every year, but they sort of self-seed and dot around the place. But it's a real bog standard, like dark purpley red one. When you think of like a wild almost antirrhinum, that's kind of what you think of. So we've got some of them, but she convinced me to try a more exciting variety, and it was one of those ones earlier in this year that germinated and then froze, did absolutely nothing, didn't get past seed leaves for months and months and months. Anyway, I've been carrying on watering it and giving it a bit of a feed, and anyway, they're actually doing something now. Look, sorry about sweaty face, it's blooming hot in here. Yeah, look, things are actually starting to happen with them, so I'm going to prick out some of these and get them growing, and hopefully we can get some beautiful antirrhinums in there. They were called, I can't even remember what the variety was called, it was that long ago, but they were like a pale peachy colour with a yellow centre and a bit of like a white frill on the outside. So if we can get them going, that'd be wonderful. But I never thought they would do anything. I just took a gamble that we had space and I didn't need to throw them in the compost. And yeah, look, action. Okay, that is the parsley. I better label them. In terms of what we sowed last week though, the rocket is up. That's the wide leaf rocket. Always find that one germinates so much faster than the wild rocket for some reason. Both of the mustards are up. That is the green wave and the dragon's tongue. The stuff that we've got out there, actually, this little burst of heat that we've had, all of the dragon's tongue has bolted. Why it's done that, I don't know. It does bolt in the heat, but I mean, it hasn't been hot. But maybe it just got used to the cooler weather as we kind of like took that downturn, and then the sudden heat has really upset it. But anyway, the green wave seems to be fine. That could actually have been affected by the fact that it was the dragon's tongue that got mostly dug up when that bed was being attacked. So maybe it was already, you know, having personal issues. And then the heat's just knocked it over the edge. Anyway, yes, so we've got rocket, no agretti yet. I'm sad. I'm regretty about the agretti. Rosso di Trento, nothing. No, it is just the mustard and the wide leaf rocket. Hopefully parsley soon. What else was I going to show you? Oh, I better get some labels for them actually. Hold on one sec. Whoa. I've got to order some more labels. I've got, I always use the wooden sticks. I know people don't like them very much because if you use Sharpies on them and then they get wet, they tend to bleed. But because I use pencil, I find them absolutely fine. About, oh goodness me, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I ordered mini sticks and big sticks, the number of which I thought would like see me out of my lifetime, and we've actually run out. Like these are the last few. So yeah, right, what am I doing? Parsley, Italian, parsley, and Lucette. TTE, nice. Which way round were they? That was Lucette, wasn't it? And that was the wide leaf. Fab. Oh, blimey, it's so hot. Actually, what temperature is it in here? It is 29.5. Actually, it feels a lot hotter than 29.5. Sweaty. Okay. So we've actually made some progress on this that I didn't tick off last week. Where's my chalk? Don't know, I have to use a broken bit. We've done rocket, lettuce, mustard, parsley, no coriander. Mum potted up the minestra and the cabbage, and there's not really any beans to pick anymore. I'll show you them, they're looking a bit sad, they've just gone over. It doesn't help that they've had their roots dug up. Oh, so before I leave, I've got picking to do. We've got to pick the turnips, pick some chimney wrapper, pick some spring onions. Yeah, it's all go. Right, this here is the chimney wrapper that we transplanted. Doesn't it look great? God, we got it. Everything's under Fort blooming Knox in it. Let's see if I can get that out. Okay. Yeah, it looks really fab. You can see that there's been some snail and caterpillar damage. There is the culprit. But overall, it looks great. And it's these beautiful, big, fat, fleshy middle stems that we're after, like that. Whoa, yeah. Let me go and get some snips. I've actually just realised that what I was going to do with the turnips this evening, I'm not actually going to be around for dinner this evening, so I shan't be doing that. So I'm going to leave them until tomorrow. And the spring onions as well, the thing that I was going to do with turnips and spring onions. So I will leave them and we'll just take the chimney wrapper home and go and have some lunch. Yeah, I am going to pick up some stuff from where I had my old studio, where I closed that down. All of that stuff went to a garage in Kingston. So I'm going to go and pick up some bits and pieces from there, take them over to the new studio, which is in Twickenham. Yeah, and then that's where I'm going to spend my afternoon. So let's go home and have some lunch. What a beautiful day it's turned out to be. All that cloud has burnt off. It's absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. It's a bit windy. Yeah, it's a smidge windy. I've actually just come up here to pick some stuff. I meant to spend a lot more time up here today than I have done, but it just didn't work out. I had a hospital appointment, and then when I got back from there, I decided I was going to go and have my lunch on the green, and then I kind of pounced around in Richmond and just had a nice time sat by the river for a bit. And now I find it's 4 o'clock and we're up here like quite late. Anyway, I'm just picking some stuff really. I've got mustard greens to pick. I've got the turnips and the spring onions that I didn't pick yesterday. I realised I wasn't going to eat them yesterday, so I didn't pick them, but they're going in the dinner tonight, so I'm going to take them with me. A couple of courgettes I think need picking, and I need to get into the polytunnel because there's a couple of tomatoes. And I think things need a bit of a water because it's been hot today, and it's also been, as you can see, really windy, and that just strips the moisture out of the soil. So I think that's my challenge. Anyway, Mum is waiting very patiently next to the polytunnel door, so I think that's my hint to say I'm supposed to be going in there to pick the tomatoes. There she is, waiting patiently.
This one over the under. This one over the under.
Okay, how are we doing? This one is looking much less green, so I think that one's coming along. Interestingly, no more of the black strawberries have gone. We had that one that went. Normally that's like the precursor for, you know, them all starting, but that we just had the one and the rest of them have just paused. So I don't know what that's about, but we do have garnet that needs picking. These black moon are just looking fantastic. Look, we've got the ones up here that are going, and then we've got the ones down here, and these taste wonderful. This is such a good little tomato. Well happy with that. And we have another bliss, which was stunning. This was absolutely delicious. So that one's coming home with us. If I can be dexterous enough to take it off. Yum, yum, scrum. Not much action on these real big boys. They are still totally green. Although I don't know if it's my imagination, but this Rebel Starfighter Prime feels like it's less green. Do you see it's got like a little orange tint to it? Am I being fooled, or do we think that's coming along? I really want that one. Really want that one. And there's always some gold to pick. Couple of Prairie Fire as well, which is rather nice. This was a lovely tasting tomato. It's really pretty close up. Let me show you. Can you see like the sort of striping? It doesn't show up particularly well on the camera, but it's almost iridescent. It's a really nice, I've just thrown that one in the soil, but it's a really lovely looking tomato in a great shape. So we're still not on with like huge harvests, like nobody's going to be making any tomato sauce anytime soon, but I'm happy. It's good. Things are happening. Right, I also need to pick a load of Thai basil to take home with me tonight. Now I'm also going to take some of this fantastic lettuce leaf basil. Absolutely gorgeous. Love it. Look at the size of these leaves. Look at this one. You see that? I don't know. Oh, I can't see where the camera is, but woo-wee. That is like as big as my hand. Gorge. So don't mind the ramshackle nature of this bed. We've got all sorts of things like stored on top of it. But what I'm going to do is take all of these spring onions, can you see me? Spring onions out of here. They're ready, and if the weather had cooled right down, I would have said, oh, we'll just leave them in there, because I feel like I'm peering at you here, because they'll store just fine outside. But actually, because we've had this sudden burst of hot weather, I'm just going to take them all, clean them up and stick them in a fridge at home. They've got a bit of black fly too, which I don't really want to get any worse. So I'm just going to take all of them, process them, and then use them as and when. I mean, spring onions last for ages in the fridge, so it's not like I suddenly have to be making spring onion ravioli. These ones are looking a bit sad actually. I might just leave them for the minute. Okay, that's cool. That's a big old hoard of spring onions. Some of them are really large. We've got some right fatties in there. Can you see me? Right fatties in there. And some of them are still really tiny, but they'll be usable. I can use the really small ones in like pesto, you know, stick them in the blender with some of that basil actually probably. And they'll be fine. Right, what else did I need to do? Mustard greens. So this is the first lot of mustard greens. We haven't quite nailed this clipping system yet. So, because they're not, so I haven't got the right size. Okay, these are coming out. This was the first lot I put in, so it is the standard combo of the green wave. I'll pick a leaf of each, the green wave and the dragon's tongue. I'll show you the difference in the way they look. I mean, they look really different at the moment because all the dragon's tongue has actually bolted. But let me show you these. Green wave, wavy and green. Dragon's tongue. You see it's got like purple veining in there, really very beautiful, and they keep their colour when they're cooked. Absolutely delicious. Some people say they think these two taste really different from each other. I have to admit, I haven't found that. I think they just look different. But I think that's because it's quite a strong flavour anyway. Sorry, the wind's back. It's quite a strong flavour anyway, so the differences would be subtle. But I'm going to pick those of these, and these are going to go in a green curry tonight. Yum, diddly, scrum. What are you doing, whirlers? What are those whirlers up to? What have you found? Something exciting. Something exciting. Let's take the... Oh, I'm going to need snips for that. I'm going to take the flower stems out of the dragon's tongues. And they'll sprout some new leaves at the bottom. They're never going to be as like prolific on the new leaf front as the unbolted ones, but they will still get another sort of flush of growth. Let's take them out. It's a nice one. Gorgeous. Okay, let's get this back down. Oh, you're all a bit dry in here, chaps. Holy schmoly. What I do need to do is feed the sweet potato. The sweet potato needs a feed, I think. What are you up to, girlies? Huh? What are you up to? I've got something for you here. Uh-huh. Here you go. Here you go, girlies. Bit of excitement for the girlies. I go get ya. Am I gonna get ya? Am I? Boof, gotcha. That was a surprise, wasn't it, Ruby? Weren't expecting that. You thought I had wormies. Well, I know I said earlier that the beans were pretty much done. Just noticed that there's a lovely new fresh flush, I can't say that, fresh flush of beautiful new young beans coming on them. So I shall do a bit of picking of these too. Stay where you are.
Be very careful of that, it's got nails sticking out of it. That's loose.
Okay, I'll just take it down.
Yeah, carry it.
Yeah, I'll stick it down here. I know, more pallets, it's exciting. I hope the wind isn't too bad. If it is, this is going to be voiceover. But can you see our paths? I mean, yes, I would rather they're digging up the paths than the beds and the vegetables, but still, the paths. The joy I get from having nice, like, lawn paths with nice straight edges and pushing the mower over it. And Mum's been trimming and making sure they're all kept nice. And, like, look at them. Look at them. It's not just there either. Look at this. Look what they've done. You can't even see it that well on the camera, right? I'm going to go in and just show you how churned up it is. Right? Look at this. It's just all the turf. It's just, I mean, this is badgers. We've transitioned now. I think what we had was a family, a fox family living next door in that plot, and it was the juvenile, the cubs, and then like the young foxes were coming over here to play, because it was quite clearly identifiably fox. There was no badger calling cards. They leave their latrines everywhere, and like fox footprints and badger footprints are really distinctive. Badgers have got very, very elongated feet with proper claws, and foxes have got like a cross shape at the back, and it was really clearly foxes to begin with. But I'm guessing they've grown up and cleared off, because we haven't had any fox damage at all. It's transitioned to badger damage now, and they are just going for the paths. The difference being is that the foxes were like getting into the beds and just like mucking everything up, but they weren't actually after anything that was a crop. Whereas now the badgers, they're actually after, like, that's why they took the sweet corn, and they've been going after the beetroot and that kind of thing. But yeah, this is just like, look at my lawn. It's just churned up and all pants. It's really annoying. It's really annoying. But somebody mentioned in the, I'm totally out of shot, aren't I? I just have to lean across here. Somebody mentioned in the comments the other day that they didn't think that my hoopy versions of these will keep badgers out if they really want in, and I totally agree with you. But that's not the intention. It's to stop them getting in to do this kind of thing, to do digging. Because if a badger really, really wants something, it gets in, like, regardless. Had a lot of suggestions about electric fences. They've got electric fences over there, they don't work. The badgers just push straight through them. The metal, the big, cattle mesh, the badgers just dig around them, dig under them, and they're like little balls of muscle. And they're not even little balls of muscle, they're big balls of muscle. It's all, at the front end for digging. So they're like, like English bull terriers, they're like, whoa, like this. And if they really want what's in that bed, there's not a great deal you can do about it, but it's dissuasion on their part, so that if it's just worms and stuff that they're after, they're not going to work hard to get into a bed where I've got the veg growing, as opposed to doing this to the paths where it's much easier. Anyway, that's my little rant over. I think we're just about finished here for today. Actually, the outdoor tomatoes don't look too bad. I mean, we're going red here. Who's this one? This is crocchini. I've not tried a crocchini yet. So these are all blight resistant. Let's have a go with this one. Sorry, in focus. Let's try it. That's a great flavour. incredibly strong. It doesn't last that long, but the flavour itself is really nice and not hyper sweet. You know, sometimes cherries can be like really poof. It's got more of a salad, like mid-sized tomato kind of flavour. What do these other ones look like? Nothing else really going red, although we've got some absolute stonkers. Look at that one. See that black stem there? These are blight resistant varieties, so I think they probably got blight, but they're not being affected too badly. Which is generally what they mean by blight resistant. Rather than they don't get blight, it's just that they cope with it a bit better. So hopefully we'll get something off of them. But look at this. Rah! Still cross about my paths. Still cross about the paths. How are we doing? I think we might be finished actually. It's just coming up to 5:30, so probably time to... Oh, I hadn't even finished doing the beans, had I? I was halfway through doing the beans and forgot about it. I'll go finish that. Where was I? Getting a second flush of these now. And another week comes to an end. So first thing, sorry again for the late upload last week. This will not be late, I promise. It will be out 4:30 on the dot, Tuesday. Can't believe I did that. Oh, so cross with myself. After I'd actually uploaded it at like 4 in the morning, I was just lying in bed like, you nincompoop. Anyway, there's two extra things actually that I just want to tack on to this end of the video. So firstly, Mum had some wild success picking some carrots. So we grow our carrots in this like little raised bed with the cover that goes all the way over the top to stop the carrot root fly. It also stops the birds pulling them out, and the chickens always go for the young seedlings of ours. So this kind of solves all of those problems, and they have grown really, really well in it. Aren't they fantastic? Yeah, so we had them, which was exciting. I need to sow some more for our overwinter carrots. What else happened? Oh yeah, I made a very, very brief trip to the coast. I actually went down to Hastings to see a friend of mine who's cat sitting down there. And it was just really, it was really brief. It was like one afternoon. I didn't do a great deal of filming. It was just so nice to see the sea. It was a really grey, overcast day, but it was properly warm. It was beautiful, and I would 100% have got in the sea, apart from the fact they had all the red flags, the warning flags all the way up along the beach for undercurrents, and they had all the lifeguards were standing there making sure nobody went in, so that was annoying. But yeah, I did get to stick my toe in it, which is, you know, pretty good. One thing that did happen though is that we had fish and chips, excellent, and then we went next door to this really posh ice cream shop and got an ice cream, and I got a beautiful big honeycomb ice cream, and we walked onto the beach and a bloody seagull nipped it. He just swooped down like that and just like cut my cone and flew off with a big ball of honeycomb ice cream. You should have heard my language. There was some angry seagull shouting. Oh, I was cross. I did. Anyway, that was a brief trip. And now we're on to another week. What have we got on next week? I don't know. I'm going to do a bit of a plot tour next week, so I've got a bit of clearing to do. So we'll have a look at like how some things did, and more importantly, how some things didn't do. Like we've got a couple of things which have been a complete fail, which are going to be written off, and so I'll talk to you about them. Yeah, it is Mum's birthday tomorrow, so that'll be in next week's vlog. I think that's it. I think that's it for this week, chaps. So thank you. Cheers to everybody. Cheers to my Patreons. As always, the people who are at the end of the vlog. And cheers to everybody else. I hope you have an excellent week. Let's hope this weather continues. The rain and the sunshine, like everything's growing like crazy and everything's getting a new flush. So yeah, let's hope we can keep the heat a little bit longer. Cheers, chaps. And another week comes to an end. I don't have the microphone on. Whoopsie daisy.